Hello, welcome to my Britwres journey. I'm Chris Lappin, and I'm delighted to be joined on the line by the most dangerous man in British wrestling, a man who's had the pleasure of training me for the last 8 months. It's Sean Only. How are you doing this evening, Sean?
Hello, nice to see you. And it has been quite the pleasure indeed over the last 8 months, I must say.
Thank you.
The pleasure has been all mine.
I've loved it. I've really enjoyed it.
Good to hear.
Yeah. If you would have said this time last year, I was getting out of breath going up the stairs. So to get to go to what's after, I can do your training class.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah, well, your progress has been very, very clear, like particularly with your fitness. You know what I mean? That's the thing that's most obvious that's progressed, if you get me.
Yeah, after the first training session I did I couldn't walk for 4 days. My thighs were just a mess. So I don't think I've ever done a squat in my life. I've never done a burpee in my life.
Right, yeah. It's a bit of a shock to the system at first, I think.
Yeah. Well, some of the stretches you made us do, I was like, I don't think my body knew I had them muscles.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, you got to engage the muscles first before you start using them, sort of thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah, I'd say I've lost 3 stone in the last 10 months, and
Wow, impressive.
Loving it. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, and it's all because when Joel went to go on the Saturday, they didn't have even numbers, so they just asked me to join in. That's really, I didn't really have any intention of doing it, really.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I love
it. There you go. That's got to be a good advertisement for the class as well. You know?
Yeah.
Come have fun, get fit, lose weight, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. When Brian said do a forward roll, I was like, it's been like 30 years since I've done a forward roll. Let's do back roll. I was like, I don't think I've ever done a back roll, but yeah, I love it. I love it. I kind of wish I didn't wait till I was 40 before I started it now. But,
yeah.
So it's okay. We do start discussing about the temple and training in general.
We can talk about whatever you want. Whatever you want. I might refuse the question. I might plead the Fifth Amendment. We can talk about whatever you want.
Cool. How did you get involved with, like, in training, and more particularly then we'll get into how you got involved with Wrestle Island a bit?
How did I get involved with trainers as in taking classes myself?
Yeah.
It's something I've been doing for a little while. I think the first class I ever took was like in Wakefield. It's like probably about 6 years ago. I've had a few classes here and there, and I've kind of helped out at other training schools, but I've never really had my own place, if you know what I mean. And then sort of like before lockdown, sort of going forward, my kind of aim was to look more to kind of helping the next generation rather than getting myself out there and helping myself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
So the plan was to try and train more and hopefully, if possible, get my own school. And luckily, I've been made head trainer at 2 different places. Sorry. Since then, so yeah, good stuff. All good.
Yeah, there is a good crop of young kids coming through the temple. I think like a Pud and Christy and Ethan or EJ, sorry, and Blake, and, Billy and Josh.
There's some amazing talent. It's ridiculous how much talent there is coming through that place. I didn't you hope for some good guys to work with, and you kind of have potentially lofty ambitions of what the kind of level of talent is going to be like, but it's just kind of exceeded what I expected, if you know what I mean. There's been so many good guys and so many good matches and amazing training matches that should by all rights have been seen by the public, you know what I mean. I've kind of felt bad, like greedy, being the only one sat there watching these exhibitions when they should have been really paying customers there as well.
Yeah, I heard the Pud and Billy had an amazing training match the other week, and I was like, I wish I'd stayed and watched.
Yeah, they did indeed. It was quite something. Yeah, I mean there was several that week, but yeah, it was quite something.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the temple shows and these getting these training matches in front of a small crowd and maybe getting them filmed and stuff would be really fun. So.
Yeah, should be good. There's a lot of interesting plans going forward, so be good to get them implemented and start pushing forward with that. Be cool.
Yeah, I was always training. At the beginning, I didn't understand why you'd get us absolutely shattered and then try and teach us stuff. But as it's gone on and on, it makes sense now because you need to be able to do these moves whilst you're tired in matches. But at the beginning, I was like, I'm goose now. Now we've done it and stuff. So I don't understand how the drop off in wrestling training can be quite, because it is really hard to begin with. Just the
The
fitness
I think that
is completely different to what anything else I've tried to do.
Yeah,
just like
I think that the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and that maybe a lot of people don't really take into account, is that wrestling a match, even if it's just like a 5-minute match, it's tricky stuff to do it properly. Like, you can go out there and half-arse it and not really give it the beans that is necessary when you're wrestling in front of people. But to be able to do it properly, to be able to properly perform to the kind of standard that people are going to pay to actually come into the crowd and observe it. It's tiring stuff, and it's very physically exhausting, and it's a different type of physically exhausting than most people are used to. So, like, you get a lot of people that are maybe really good at running. They can go for really long distances and on the treadmill and not get tired and jog. But when it comes to getting into the ring, it's like, oh, holy shit, I didn't realize it was going to be quite that kind of tiring, because it's a different kind of, it's the stop and start, and it's the getting up and getting down, and the kind of spinning and moving and all that kind of stuff that you just aren't used to in regular day-to-day life. No. And you aren't even necessarily used to in regular athletic life. So that's kind of why it's really necessary to get everybody used to all those kind of movements. So it's not tiring when you do them. And then I think it's fair to say that now you've kind of got used to those warm-ups and those drills. It's you don't feel exhausted. You're kind of ready for ready for learning and ready for all that.
Yeah. Because I do say I can do a 45-minute spin class, but me and Day did a 3-minute training match, and that's absolutely useless.
Yeah, of course.
There wasn't even that much in it. We weren't doing that much running. There was a lot of locking up, and it was just basic stuff.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of that is the more used to getting in. The more used to being in there you are, the more used to conserving your energy you'll be. So, like, when you're locking up, you kind of can't help but, because you want it to look good, don't you? So you kind of can't help but, like, putting all of your effort into into making it look like it's the most fierce, brutal lockup you've ever done. So after 15 seconds of doing that, you're pretty exhausted, because you've been putting all your effort in. But once you kind of get used to it, it becomes more of a natural muscle memory kind of thing. You can still put that same, or you can still look like you're putting that same effort in, but whilst you're actually not really doing a right lot, and you're conserving your energy for the next thing, or for when you actually need to be running about or whatever.
Yeah, because I was the one to fit the first, like, real criticisms you had of me, was I was going in too hard or too stiff, and I just didn't know how hard to do things, because I've never done it. I was just like,
it's the same with almost everybody. It's like it's. I mean, specifically it was to you in that instance, but it's certainly not specific to you. It's almost universal. It's very difficult to not do that, because you want to make it look good, so you're trying to make it look good, essentially.
And which strikes as well. I was just like, I just didn't know how hard to hit somebody, so it kind of looks crap if you do it too lightly. But you want to get that nice sound. But
because obviously we don't want to be hurting each other and breaking each other's jaws. But in a lot of ways, it's more tiring to throw the strike so it looks like there's force and there's intent behind it, but you're pulling it so you're not actually hurting the guy. That, in a lot of ways, is more tiring than throwing the thing with full force, as if you were hitting a punch bag or whatever.
Yeah, I've been punched in the face twice to train it so far.
That's never fun. Nobody likes that. We'll leave it at twice as well. We'll have no more.
It wasn't training with you, so. I think Sonid Earth and.
I thought you were just talking about out on a Saturday night when that's too many beverages.
I can't remember who it was, but it was Jordan who jawed me. We were meant to be, like, pretending. I think it was with the VGS. They'll teach us how to punch. Yeah, and I got slightly too hard. He was meant to hit me here. He hit me there. So
yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
it's not ballet.
No.
Not ballet.
I got up. I was scared I was going to have this huge bruise on the side of my face, but it was all right. So a few of the Temple trainees have sent a few questions in, and I was wondering. Yes. So, hi Joel. He wondered if him and Barry could be a team sometimes on the Temple shows.
Joel's asking if him and Barry could be a team on the Temple shows.
Sometimes.
Potentially. I mean, obviously, like that's not really down to me to decide. Like, if Barry wants to do that, and if Joel wants to, make the steps necessary to, to be good enough to, like, get into the ring on Temple shows, then I can't see why that wouldn't happen or couldn't happen. But it's kind of out of my control, really.
He wants to be called Big Duck Energy. So.
Right. Okay. Well, they've got the team name already, so that's half the battle's already fought. Why not? Why not?
He also wants to know who your favourite Spider-Man is. I think that's not very wrestling, but I was wondering
who my favourite Spider-Man is. Well, Peter Parker, of course.
I think you meant like Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, or yes.
I
think it's not about movies, so I'm not sure.
Well, no, because I mean there have been multiple Spider-Men.
Yes.
Now, but yeah, I think it'd be quite odd if your answer wasn't Peter Parker there. Okay, favorite. That's tough, man. That's tough. I think probably my favorite individual movie of all the Spider-Man ones was the first Garfield one, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I thought that was excellent, but I wouldn't necessarily say. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. They all have their merits.
I think there's great things coming from The Amazing Spider-Man, and I think they just tried to throw too much into the second one.
It
kind of.
It was flawed. It wasn't perfect by any means. I had some issues with the way the Peter Parker character was kind of portrayed. I feel like there was some fundamental elements of the Peter Parker character that are fundamental that kind of weren't necessarily there. Like he was a little bit too cool. But I think as a movie, it was probably the one that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Despite the flaws.
I have a soft spot for the first Tobey Maguire one because my favourite wrestler's Macho Man, and Macho Man's in it. It's just like not long before he died.
Yeah.
And stuff. So.
Yeah, both the first two Tobey Maguire ones are fantastic. To be fair, both awesome.
The third one's watchable, but I don't know if it's because it's so bad it's good or it's. But I do.
I don't have a major issue with it. It's like. It's bloated, and they tried to do too much, and it's like it's clearly the weaker of the three.
Oh, definitely.
But as a standalone movie, like if you're not comparing it to the other two excellent movies, I don't see it as problematic, shall we say?
Okay, Warren would like to know about your training and how many hours did you put in, and how long did it take you to get onto shows and stuff like that. So.
Right. Okay. So. I was trained under the tutelage of a couple of World of Sport legends by the name of Jeff Kay and Drew McDonald, who neither of whom are with us anymore, sadly.
No.
But I'm going obviously way back to the early 2000s. I'm trying to think how long it was, but I was definitely like not ready to have my first match when I did have my first match. But I'm trying to think like.
Is that in hindsight at the time? Did you think you were ready? But in hindsight, you weren't.
Oh yeah. Everybody thinks they're ready at the time. Of course they do. But no, I was nowhere near ready. I think it was about 7 months in. I feel like I was put into like a rumble or something, probably maybe 6 months in, and then I had my first match like 7 months in with the guy called Taylor Phoenix. He was called at the time. Tommy Taylor. He went on to be known as.
Tommy Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, he got signed by the WWE and whatnot. He was a good guy. Although, like, retired years and years ago. It's a shame. He had bags and bags of talent, but I think after he got released by the WWE, he wasn't in it anymore. So it is what it is. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, my training. First match with Tommy Taylor, yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that was. I certainly put a lot of hours in. I certainly put a lot of work in. I mean, I was definitely training like twice a week for the first 5-6 months, and then probably more than that. But like beyond that, because I was getting as much ring time in whenever we were going to shows and whatnot. I didn't even step foot in a ring until the first time I was at a show. I had like 5+ months of training just on mats. There wasn't much. There wasn't like facilities. Things weren't good like back then. 2002 was when I had my first training session, and to say that British wrestling was a different animal then than it is now is like
Yes,
massive understatement.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions later. So.
Completely different. Just thank you, lucky stars, basically.
And then finally, Charlie would like to know, when is a good time to contact promoters? He knows that he's a far way off, but for future references.
When is a good time to contact promoters? See, that's interesting because it depends what specific promoters you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of point messaging, the guys at Rev Pro or Progress when you've only got like a training reel or whatever. But you've got to understand the fact that promoters aren't there to do people favors. If there's nothing that you can offer the promoter, then why should they offer like services to you? Once you've got some decent footage that looks good, and it looks like you could be not necessarily an asset to any show, but you could add something to the specific show that you're trying to contact, as it were. So obviously you need to know what your lane is, as it were. Without me sound patronising about it or whatever, you need to know kind of what your limitations are or whatever. And also be aware of what looks good and what doesn't, and what sells and what doesn't. And if you've got gear and if you've got a character and you've got decent footage, then there's a chance promoters will look at you. But for the most part, they're only going to be booking the people that they've considered themselves. That's another thing that people don't necessarily tend to realise. Contacting promoters with the hopes of getting booked, but if you're a promoter running a show, the chances are you already know all the people that you want to have on your show before, you know what I mean, before you've actually run the show. So yeah, you need to give them a good reason as to why they should take a punt on you.
Yeah. So how was your 2022 in ring? I said I really enjoyed your Wrestle Island and stuff with like RPD, and I'm really enjoying that feud so far, and I can't wait for the actual blow off match to it, because it's maybe away from Wrestle Island. So how was it?
Yeah, it's been all right. I mean, like I say, to be honest, it's there's this kind of joke that we have at training. I get some stick from a couple of the other lads, specifically Nathan. Funnily enough, he's always the cheekiest one. We do love Nathan Beast. He can be a cheeky lad. But the gag that I've retired, which I haven't. I definitely have not retired, despite the fact that I'm doing more training than I was before and a little bit less wrestling. I am still like on the scene somewhat. But yeah, no, 2022 was good. I had some good matches. You put me on the spot, and I can't specifically what they were right now. But like, no, it was sound. It was sound. But yeah, like I say, I have somewhat taken a step back from. I don't travel as much anymore is the main thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking sort of like 3-4 classes a week. I just don't really have the time to be taking really long trips. So I tend to restrict myself to what shows are relatively local, as well as obviously Wrestle Island, because that's where my home from home is, as it were, as you can tell from my silly accent. But yeah, no, it was still good. I still very much enjoyed it. I still very much love telling stories and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so what I like about your feud of RPD is because you were the fan favorite, the homeboy, and it's that the crowd, you feel that the crowd's actually turned on you, or it's not even that they've turned on you, they're just not supporting you as much. That seems to be the beef. That's what I like about it.
I wasn't very happy about that, was I? No. I feel like I got a bit annoyed about that. I feel like I maybe took it out on the crowd a little bit, but it is what it is. Sometimes you say things when you're in character. It's weird talking about kayfabe stuff in a non-kayfabe interview, and you're never quite sure where the line is drawn or whatever. But like I feel like I've said so much stuff out of character. It would be a bit silly for me to start cutting promos.
Definitely.
Cutting promos on the horrible, dirty people of Birkenhead right now. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. So,
you also took it out 3 of your trainees at the last show. So
Well, they kind of deserved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've seen them. Have you seen the smug looks on their little faces? They deserved that one.
Oh, poor Blake. Was it the quickest match in Wrestle Island history? Was it 40 seconds, I think, also, against Ethan? So it's like,
yeah, you can put that on his resume. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's why he's my protege #1 pick, or etc.
Yeah. I know you're not going to be at the Wrestle Island on Sunday, but me and Joel did have an idea. Yeah, me and Joel did have an idea of the Rumble that you cleared the ring, and then the buzzer went, and then Mike's like, making number 13 the Temple trainees, and then 4 come out and they beat you down for a couple of minutes, and maybe you eliminate 1 or 2 of them, but then the next entrance would have been EJ, and then it could have been like make it like 2-on-2 type thing. It could have been fun. So.
Right. Did you suggest that to the booker?
No, me and Joel were talking about it. So it's like, yeah. So Wrestle Island is on the 29th. Return to their home in Birkenhead. First show of 2023. 3 championship matches, a Rumble, including over 30 wrestlers. So, but I think, the main event must be the raffle, because I think they've got the most expensive prize ever. Six bottles of Prime. That must be worth over $1,000 these days, wasn't it? Or something. So, yeah. Family ticket, £25. You can't go wrong with that. So the best value wrestling. Locally.
Absolutely, it's going to be an absolutely cracking show, top to bottom. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, and away from Wrestle Island, you've recently taken over the booking of Tidal Championship Wrestling. So.
Well, it's not really a public knowledge thing, but I guess it's kind of like the way things circulate in wrestling. I'd be very surprised if everybody wasn't already aware of that anyway. So, I'm certainly taking a big hand in helping with the booking over at Tidal, which is why I won't be at Wrestle Island, unfortunately, on January, because I've got sort of obligations with the first Tidal show back over in Huddersfield. Excuse me. So yeah, looking forward to that one as well. It should be a good show. Got some really good matches lined up. Just a shame with the way it always works with British wrestling, that so many things have to clash. It's just unavoidable. It's just the inevitable way of things.
So the show's called New Dawn. So is that like a soft reboot or something for?
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, it's the previous owner sold up, and we're sort of just basically restarting. January being an operative time to do that as well. You know, new year, new me, and all that. New year, new title, and all that. So yeah, it's essentially a reboot. We're keeping the champions from the previous show, but yeah, there's going to be all new sort of contenders, and there's going to be a lot of the same people that we're used to from the previous roster, but there's also going to be mixing it up. Bringing in a few sort of bigger names as well over the coming months. So there's some quite exciting things to look forward to on the title front beyond this first show. Not that the first show isn't like exciting, but like I say, we're sort of building up to a few different things. So should be cool.
Billy O'Keefe versus Ray Bit should be a fun match.
Yeah, to be honest, that's the one I'm the most emotionally invested in, because I think that they're 2 guys that really should be more places. They're both amazing talents. And just for whatever reason, people haven't taken the punt on them, which to me is baffling. But when you see this match, that'll probably change, because they're gonna be in big demand shortly. So I'm glad that we've got hold of them now.
Yeah, and that Fatal 5-way tag team match looks. I like.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a gauntlet. It's going to be a gauntlet match.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 2 teams starting. It's going to be look at the draw. Essentially, 2 teams start, and then whoever gets eliminated, the other team has to face the next team, and then the next team, and then the next team, until we've just got 1 team remaining, and they're going to be the new Tidal tag team champions. Or it's going to be this, or Reese and Rogan are going to retain, and we're going to have the same Tidal tag team champions. We just don't know at this stage, but yeah, it's all to play for, as it were.
Yeah, I love Reese and Rogan. They're amazing.
Yeah, awesome throwback team. Like, such big bruisers. With such good tag team chemistry and stuff. Yeah, they are great.
Yeah, I can't wait. So, but I'll put links to ticket information for both shows in in below the interview. So
Awesome.
yeah, let's go back. So this usually gives away your age. So who was your favourite wrestler growing up? So,
What's that? Sorry.
who was your favourite wrestler growing up?
Do I have to only say one? That's so hard. I'm a massive Bret Hart mark because he's like the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Like I think probably Macho Man was like the first one that I really resonated with.
He got me into wrestling, I think. So.
Like 1, 2, 3 Kid. Obviously went on to be sort of Six and X-Pac and whatnot, but the 1, 2, 3 Kid when I was a little kid was the first one that kind of made me think like, oh wow, it's maybe not just superheroes and whatnot that could do this. It could be potentially.
I still love that 1, 2, 3 Kid. How the storyline, how they got hit, leading up to him beating Razor, how he got beat every week, but he got a little bit better every week, and then he actually win over Razor. And then,
I mean, like honestly, that's one of my favorite storylines of all time. Like that was the thing that I mean, I was a little kid, so it's not like I watched that and then I went off and started training the next week. But that was the moment that stuck with me. That was the moment that sort of ultimately made me become a wrestler. Essentially, the 1, 2, 3 Kid beating Razor Ramon on Raw when I was a small child. Yeah, awesome stuff.
I was probably a little 10 or 11. I can't remember. Was it 93? Wasn't it? I think. So
it was
probably 11. Yeah,
it was 93.
Yeah,
I was -9.
Oh yeah, the 1, 2, 3 Kids match with Brett. That was that kind of put him on the map, I think. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really did. And who better than Brett for putting people on the map? Who has there ever been anyone better?
Yeah, and also the '94 King of the Ring, him versus Owen, probably the best post under 5-minute match of all time. I think it was only like 3 minutes.
That was amazing. Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he jump starts him at the beginning. Yeah. No, that's good shout, Chris. That is a classic.
I think it is like this. Yeah. The best short match of all time.
I feel like I want to go watch that now.
Yeah, just during lockdown, Rachel's big mark for Bret Hart and the new gen era. So we went back and watched Raw from the beginning. We got up to like mid '95, where it started getting a bit crap. When they'll build up to Mabel versus Diesel at SummerSlam.
Oh, good old. It's the summer of Mabel. What a classic time.
The summer of Undertaker versus Undertaker. But yeah, we got up to there. We did watch it a lot. We watched 2 or 3. It's easy to watch back. There was only like 40 minutes long, so you could just binge.
Yeah. It's so easy to digest. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you always started with a good match. Yeah, 2 or 3 jobber matches, and then the squash matches, and then have a main event. So it was like a nice, easy 40 minutes to watch as well. Got all your favorites.
Smart formatting. Very smart formatting.
Cool. So what prompted you to don the tights and get in the ring yourself?
Well, funnily enough, we almost answered that. Like my standard answer to that would probably be the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Razor Ramon match. Like I say, that was the moment that sparked it. It was obviously several years until I sort of took the plunge, but I don't know. It was always kind of there at the back of my mind. I guess I convinced myself out of it, talked myself out of it with that kind of like, oh, that's not a thing that people do. No, I can't do that. But just as the years rolled on, it became more and more of a thing I couldn't ignore. If you know what I mean. So yeah, I started lifting weights and I started doing some martial arts and whatnot. So I wanted to, because again I was kind of inspired by the 1, 2, 3 Kid and X-Pac and stuff. So I wanted to like employ some of that kind of martial arts style into my wrestling. So I started lifting weights, started doing some martial arts and whatnot, and researched where a good place to train wrestling would be, and that was where I found out about Jeff and Drew in Leeds, which is what prompted me to move to Leeds.
Oh wow! You moved to Leeds to start training. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I was like 19 maybe, something like that.
Oh, cool.
A young lad. baby Sean Only. I'd already come up with the name Sean Only back then. You know, it's like, I always find it kind of interesting with some of the lads that I train now, that they've got their gimmicks and stuff in mind before, ages before they're even on shows. Because it's not like the gimmick was like honed or anything, but I don't know, I just had the name Sean Only in mind before I'd even taken my first session or anything. It's weird that it's never changed.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I've on the wrestling games and stuff, I've always made myself as VDT. But then Mr. Williams was like, you can't be VDT because we've already got an RPD, so we can't have a three-letter name. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Names like Sniper and the Scouse Psycho came up in research. Are they you? Or are they just?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just nicknames. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, to be fair, like, because for quite a while I was Sean the Sniper Only, and then I was actually just known as the Sniper for a little while at a couple of places, but up way back. I think I'm talking probably around about 2007. But I don't really think of that as a different gimmick, if you know what I mean. It was just that they just kind of used the nickname as the announcement name rather than what my sort of kayfabe real name was, if that makes sense. So I feel like I've kind of always been Sean Only, really. Apart from a couple of times when I was Michael Myers, but that's a different story.
So
a closely guarded secret as well. I'm sure no one could realise that Michael Myers guy with the exact same build and height and physique as me was me. Because it wasn't me.
So where did the name Sean Only come from?
Well, as he's been mentioned multiple times already, let's bring him up once again. As wrestling historians and trivia buffs will probably no doubt be aware, the 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac, his real name, Sean Waltman.
Yeah.
And Jerry Only was the bass player for the Misfits.
Yes.
I don't know. I just thought it kind of worked. Had a bit of a ring to it, as far as I could tell. And there's this kind of running gag that Jerry Only from the Misfits is like my kayfabe dad or my kayfabe uncle or something, which is
that's cool.
Kind of run with that a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of Misfits in my gimmick and in my merch and logos and all that stuff. So yeah, I've sort of run with that.
Yeah, punk was never something I got into. I kind of got dragged down the metal route, but yeah, it's like. But whenever I ever hear punk, I would like that, but just none of my friends liked it, so it was just nothing I got dragged into. So
yeah.
So I was like,
I do love me metal as well, more sort of thrash and whatnot, but sort of the classic stuff. Not so much into modern sounding metal, but I do love a bit of metal as well.
It's only the last year or so I made an effort to try and get new music because I've been listening to them. Because the Spotify do your like top 5 bands, and every year it was Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Metallica, Slipknot every year. So I made a proper effort to try and. There might not even be new bands, or just new music for me. So yeah.
I must say my taste in music has broadened significantly recently, and that is largely due to Spotify and how easy it is to broaden your tastes with such a platform.
What I tend to do is I put a band in I like, and then they have like that band radio where you kind of mix their songs in with those other bands, and I like that song, and then I listen to their album, and then do the same again. I just I make playlists of all the songs I like.
Fans of this band also like section at the bottom, which I find is pretty helpful. Although this is kind of sounding like an advert for Spotify, and it's kind of really bad for not paying the band. So maybe we should. Maybe we should. No, it is great. Like I've kind of as as I've been annoying a lot of the trainees with. I've been I don't know how the hell this has happened, but I've just got myself into it. Because traditionally, I've always been into punk and sort of subcultures of music, like hard thrash.
Shakira, is it? You've been saying you like or something? Shakira?
No, it's not Shakira. No, it's not. Don't tar me with that. No, No, it's Kesha.
Kesha.
Well, it's lots of things. It's lots of things. I've just been appreciating like pop music more recently. You know, like proper pop music, not just like, you know what I mean.
I can't even think of a Kesha song. They all sound the same.
Well, I'm not gonna sing.
I don't think you're gonna sing it, but
you have to research it yourself.
Yeah,
I've been annoying the trainees with like putting Kesha on during warm-ups and stuff. It's kind of become a bit of a running joke, but it's not like an ironic thing. Like, I think she's actually awesome. But like, it's not just there. I don't know. Like, it's like I said, it's just totally out of my wheelhouse from historically what I've always listened to and what I've always been into. But like, just a lot of great pop music around, like Taylor Swift and what's her name, Miley Cyrus, and like, yeah, there's tons of it. It's amazing. Even stuff like One Direction. It's like they're a boy band, but what boy bands sounded like when I was a kid compared to what they sound like, it's just night and day. It's like the composition and the structure and the production of these songs. It's like amazing. And then like go back and listen to fucking, sorry, pardon my French, like E17 and Boyzone or whatever. It's just a totally night and day. How did I get onto talking about boy bands? This isn't very credible. This isn't getting me any punk points, is it?
No,
I do have a Black Flag tattoo, and I do have a sleeve full of Misfits tattoos, by the way, just to address the balance a little bit.
I say one of my gym playlists just goes for stupid things. Like the other week, it went from "People Equal Shit" by Slipknot to "Why Are There So Many," the Rainbow song by Kermit the Frog. So it's like just
it's
a bit random. Yeah,
can't be a bit of Kermit.
Rainbow Connection. That's one thing. What's called? Yeah. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I've got a slight obsession with Lionel Richie, and I grew up on Krista Berg and stuff like that. So I went through a phase of about for a week of just binging Krista Berg. So I was scared that was going to turn up on my Spotify end of year list because it's
lose all cool points there.
Yeah, well, so I got signed off work for a couple of months with depression earlier this year. So I was just. Yeah, I used to like Krista Berg. Let's just binge him to try and cheer myself up because we got these tablets. And I was just a zombie for a couple of weeks. So it was fun. But yeah, I think things like the gym and the wrestling training has just sort of helped me mentally, so good, and physically, obviously. So
yeah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear, man.
Yeah. It's amazing meeting new people because I don't think I've made a proper new friend for years, but I think I've made friends at training, even in the short time we've been there. So it's like,
that's great, man. I think it's a really good environment, and it's almost like a little community. You know what I mean? It's great.
Yeah, I think it's a really supportive group as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's so much support that goes on. Everyone's so encouraging. I think that's why, like, you know, so many people do so well, because. You know what I mean? Because that encouragement is there. It's the carrot and the stick. Carrot and the stick principle. I think the carrot clearly does far better.
Yeah, so what I love about wrestling is how inclusive it is as well. Because not many other sports you could like at 40 you could go in and start training straight away. and get to. I don't think I'm ever going to become a technical wizard. I could hopefully get to a level I could put on a competent match.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Sure. I mean, 40's not old. 40's absolutely not old. I will absolutely not hear of it.
40's not old, but starting something at 40, but yeah. But I could be a Keith Myers and keep going on to my 60s, whatever it is.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not if Keith can do it?
Well, Isaac's already made a plan.
He's a good Keith. Hi, Keith, if you're listening. Love you,
Isaac's plan, which I'm a 7-year-old, is that me and Joel become a tag team, and then he replaces me in the tag team, and then Joel's first son replaces Joel in the tag team and teams with Isaac, and it just becomes a rolling, like Lappin dynasty type of thing. It just keep replacing each other in this tag team.
Lappin dynasty, indeed.
Right, so if you're a promoter for a day, promoting an event, using wrestlers you've worked with, trained with, wrestlers associated to you in some way. If I give you a match type, you tell me who you put in the match.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
So who would be in your opening contest to get the crowd excited?
Opening contest, right? Okay. So two people that I've either wrestled with or trained with or whatever.
It's your card. You can make up every match 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, every match intergender. Just
right,
it's your show.
I get you. Well, to start with, then we'll have we'll do Billy versus Pud from the show the other week, because that was you couldn't really get a much better. You couldn't really get a much better opening match than that.
I wish I stayed for that now. I feel like he's buzzing about this match.
It'd be good. It's a good way to showcase two different young talents that maybe whatever this mystery crowd possibly wouldn't be so familiar with.
I'm really excited to see how good Pud is when he's 23, considering how good he is at 16.
That's scary. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, if you see people like Joe Nelson or kid like us too, how much he's progressed since I first saw him when he was like 15, I think. First time I wrestled at Wrestle Island, so what he's doing now with a kid like us, it's just like,
I've known him since he was like, I think 10. I'm not totally sure about either 10 or 11. Yeah, I mean that's testament to how long he's been training and how much work he's put in. So
yeah,
because he was working hard then. He was talented then when he was 11 or 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I think he just turned 15 when I interviewed him in early 18. I think it's just but he's so good. A comedy style match.
A comedy style match. Can I put over my old tag partner PJ Rockefeller?
Yes.
One of my best mates, Steve. To be fair, he's not wrestled for years, but we'll bring him out of retirement for that.
Yeah.
We'll bring the 3D glasses out of retirement. He can go against. We'll bring Madman Manson out of retirement as well, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, bring them both out. Actually, no, scrap that, because it never works. Comedy versus comedy never works.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
Do you want a straight man in a comic?
Yeah. No, we need a. I don't know why I went for Manson. So yeah, so we'll go for PJ, and it'll be someone serious that we can. Who's a nice serious wrestler to have as a foil? Oh, but it's got to be from my history, isn't it? So there's no point asking you, really. That's a good. We will have. You can go against Boris Kozlov. That'd be fun. That'd be fun, because although Boris, he has a bit of comedy.
He can do comedy though.
Yeah, he's got a bit of the comedic stuff in his locker. You can also be sort of like the tough man foil. So I think that would kind of work both ways. There you go. We'll stick with that. There you go.
Okay, your women's title match.
Goodness. Women's title match. Okay, so we'll go for we'll put Lana in there, because I've known Lana for so long. She's someone that I've known since like pretty much her first days training, because I was kind of involved with GPW at one point when she was first there. So we'll put Lana in there, so I've known her so long.
Oh, she's great.
Versus
the first time I saw her, she was a Wrestling Media Con in Manchester. She was against who's that girl from Impact, the witchy one? I can't remember her name, but yeah, it was a great match. So I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, but don't put me under pressure asking me to remember names as well.
I'm awful with names.
Haven't seen me at the training. I'm like with name. Sorry, yeah. Who's Lana going against? What would be a good match there? I'll tell you what. We'll put her in with Rio. Because I just saw Rio at True Grit, and she was really good, and she's been impressing me a lot recently when I've seen her. Actually, no, let's make it a triple threat. Let's put Harley Hudson in there as well, because she's been really impressing me recently. So that'd be a good one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, her breaking her foot like a year ago seems to she was doing great before that, but since she's come back from her foot injury, it's just been like, she's been amazing.
Yeah, she's just really believable. That's the thing that seals it for me. Like a lot of the other factors don't really necessarily resonate with me as much as they would with other people. But if I can buy what you're trying to sell me, if I believe it, I find that's the only thing that really matters ultimately.
Yeah, yeah, she lives up to her moniker, 9 stone of Scouse power, whether it's Scouse girl power. So yeah, she's amazing. Your mid-card title match, so more of a workhorse title.
Oof. Fucking hell. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Right.
Not
that I'm gonna break out into some gangster rap or anything, but I keep letting it slip and then apologising. Workhorse title. I'll tell you, we'll do some name dropping. We'll put Daniel Bryan in there.
Oh,
I was lucky enough to work with Daniel Bryan a couple of times.
Oh, amazing.
When he was over here back in the day when he used to do the camps. And there's not much more of a workhorse than that, really, surely. So we'll put Daniel Bryan in with. I'll tell you what we'll do. Oh, I'm getting really excited about this, and it's not going to happen. This is really unfair. You tantalising me. We're going to put Daniel Bryan in with Joey Hayes.
Ooh.
And I'm now excited to see that match. That's possibly not ever going to happen, but it should.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? That was why it occurred to me.
Okay, a hardcore extreme rules. So this can be anything from comedy, 24/7 stuff, right up to deathmatch. You can just
Well, we won't go so far as death matches because it has its market and I don't have an issue with it per se. But like I do find it's like they tend to ignore psychology a little bit more than I usually enjoy. So we'll go for like a sort of extreme rules hardcore. Yeah,
deathmatch. So I'm just
no.
Yeah.
Like I said,
wrestlers come on and try and explain it to me. I'm still like,
I've got nothing against it. I've got like
I can see it. If at the end of a feud, it's like a Hell in a Cell or something. Just this feud's got so you have to go to a death match to end the feud. But
that's not really what deathmatch wrestling is.
I know, but that's not what deathmatch.
It's just a load of death matches. But again, like I say, I've got nothing against it. There's a market for it, and fair play to him, more power to him. But yeah, we'll go with like a sort of like extreme rules, super hardcore, but not quite to the point of it being deathmatch. We'll definitely have B.A. Rose in there because I love B.A. Rose. If you're listening, B.A. Rose, hey buddy. And he can be against someone else. Gnarly and crazy and hardcore. Who's good?
Jenna. He wants to be.
Why not? There you go. Why not? We'll have him in there as well. That can be a big crazy high spot match.
Yeah. When I interviewed him a couple of years ago, the first thing he goes when he gets to a venue is just look around, see what he can jump off. What's the highest thing the insurance will let him jump off. Cool. Your tag team title match.
Ooh. Well, we'll have Crash Boat in there.
Oh,
good old Crash
Boat. Love Crash Boat.
Good old Crash Boat. Hi, Crash Boat, if you're listening. I love you. I feel like I said that a lot. Yeah, we'll have Crash Boat in there. I feel like I've only been saying like recent people because obviously like recency bias and you kind of think things are in memory better when they've happened more recently. So I'm trying to think of maybe someone from further back, a bit more of a trivia answer to a fucking trivia question or whatever. Oh yeah, why not have me and Colossus in there? Why not have Sniper and Colossus?
Yes.
We wore suits and shit, and we had some sort of name, but I can't remember what we were called.
I saw it before.
Oh, did you actually see it while doing your research? Yeah, well, whatever the hell we were called, it was some corny ass name like the business or the bastards or the something. I cannot remember, but yeah. There you go. Well, we don't need a name, just Sniper and Colossus. There you go. We'll fill that role. We'll beat the tar out of Crash Boat, easy peasy.
Yeah,
booking myself, going against my own rule and booking myself.
Is it the Black Arrows? No.
No.
Yeah, the Black Arrows on. I can't see it there. The Proven? No, that's not it. No.
That's salmon.
Salmon's, yeah. That's not it.
No, it doesn't matter. It's something from a long time ago that everybody's
yeah.
forgotten. That everybody's forgotten anyway. So
Yeah, I think I was thinking of the Black Arrows as on the cage match. There was snipering somebody. So. Cool. Then it's your main event.
Oh God, right? Yeah, of course we're gonna have a main event, haven't we? Oof. Who's in the main event? Well, Rampage is in the main event because Rampage is the man. So Rampage is the main event of any card that he's on. Who have I wrestled that would be a good fit to go against Rampage at this juncture? Oh man, it's so tough. Like I've wrestled about 10,000 fucking people, and I feel like anyone that I'm not mentioning is like, I'm good. Why is he not saying me? Not that I'm trying to insinuate that like wrestlers have got egos or anything. I don't know. I'm struggling. We'll put Rampage in with Dara because Dara's a good egg.
Yes.
Got a lot of time. I've got a lot of time for Dara Diablo. He's a good man. Yeah. Hi Dara, if you're listening, love you.
That'd be a great card. I'd love to watch that
card. Yeah, it would be a sick card actually, wouldn't it? I'd maybe take myself off and replace myself with someone else, but other than that, it would be a sick card.
Yeah. People don't tend to put themselves in the main events. They tend to just most people tend to put themselves in a tag team match or as part of a big fatal four way. They tend to put themselves on the card somewhere. So
I was just running out of ideas. Typical booker, running out of ideas before he's even started.
That was fun. That was a great card. Do you want to promote any social media before we go?
Social media. I never use it. I'm at Real Sean Only on everything. I think Instagram and Twitter and all that. But I never use it, so feel free to follow me and not get any posts or updates. No, that's not true. Every now and then I post stuff on Twitter and maybe once a month or something. Like on Instagram you'll get a photo of training or something. So it's worth it. It's definitely worth your time following me.
You get to see a picture of me and Sean sitting together.
Mogul. There you go. At Real Sean Only.
I'll put links in the description for your social media and for ticket information for the shows you've been discussed earlier for Tidal and Wrestle Island. So yeah, I've really enjoyed speaking today. I'd love to have you on again in the future.
It's been great.
I will see you on Sunday.
Oh, you will indeed. Yeah, of course. Training on Sunday. Should